Imagine, you just attended a major meeting for your condominium building.
Oh boy, those can be rough.
Right. I mean, if you've ever lived in a condo or a planned community, or honestly even dealt with a corporate board,
Yeah.
you know exactly the kind of meeting I'm talking about.
Yeah, the ones that usually drag on for hours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Filled with endless debates over budget lines and, like, what color to paint the hallway.
Always the hallway paint.
Always. But this time, it's a perfect scenario. Every single person showed up. The debate was surprisingly respectful.
A rare treat.
Very rare. And the final vote on this massive multi-million-dollar renovation project was completely unanimous, and everyone went home happy. The democratic system worked perfectly, right?
You'd think so.
But then, 4 weeks later, a judge takes that perfect unanimous decision, that beautiful moment of community agreement, and just throws the entire thing in the trash.
Wow.
And why? Not because of fraud in the room. Not because someone was bribed. Not because the votes were counted incorrectly.
Which is what everyone assumes.
Right. But it gets thrown out because of a tiny, seemingly invisible administrative error made weeks before the meeting invitations were even mailed out.
It sounds like an absolute bureaucratic nightmare. I mean, the kind of thing that makes people want to pull their hair out.
Completely.
But the reality is this exact scenario happens far more often than people realize, and it completely upends massive financial decisions.
And that is the mission of our deep dive today. We are looking at a really fascinating stack of sources you shared with us.
Yeah, we've got a highly detailed legal guidebook specifically for condo committees, alongside an analytical breakdown of property management law.
And our goal today is to uncover the hidden upstream traps of corporate governance. Because it turns out the room where the vote happens isn't actually where the power lies.
Not at all.
Okay, let's unpack this. Where does the legality of a meeting actually start, if not when the gavel comes down?
Well, it starts by confronting a massive public misconception. When most people think about corporate governance or property management law or really any kind of democratic voting process, their mind instantly goes to the climax of the event.
Right, the show of hands, the final tally.
Exactly. We are conditioned to think that the legality of a meeting is based entirely on what happens inside those four walls. But our sources reveal that the courts look at this from a completely different paradigm.
They don't just look at the end result, do they?
No, they don't. When a dispute inevitably happens, they heavily scrutinize the meticulous chronological timeline of how that meeting was assembled in the very first place.
Reading through these sources, I realized we've been looking at this all wrong. I mean, organizing a legal meeting is almost like baking a cake.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right, because you can frost it perfectly with a unanimous vote. But if you used expired flour, meaning bad data, the whole cake goes in the garbage.
That is exactly it. And that foundational ingredient prep is what the legal system calls the upstream process.
The upstream process.
Yeah. Our texts outline a core legal principle here. Many legal cases surrounding condo meetings or corporate resolutions aren't lost because someone challenges the voting results.
Because the vote was fine.
Right. They are lost because of their upstream origins. When a dispute lands on the desk of a registrar or a judge, they bypass the vote tally completely.
They just ignore it.
Totally. Instead, they ask foundational questions. Which specific version of the owner database was used to generate the guest list? Was that database updated legally?
Wow.
And was the mail sent to the correct legally registered address of the actual owner or just to the unit itself?
They basically skip the frosting and go straight to checking the expiration dates on the flour.
Exactly. They start their investigation from the moment before the first draft of the invitation was even conceived.
Which naturally brings us to the data itself. Because if the court cares so deeply about the underlying data, we need to understand exactly which data actually matters.
Right. The specific documents.
Yeah, and reading the breakdown of these Thai property laws in the source material, I realized there's a huge trap here that I think almost anyone, myself included, would fall into.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me act as a proxy for you, the listener, and ask the obvious question. Wait, if I have my name on the official government house registration document for the property, doesn't that automatically make me the legal owner with voting rights?
It seems like it should, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's my house, my name's in the government book, obviously I should get the invite.
What's fascinating here is how easily that common sense assumption crumbles under actual legal scrutiny. The sources are incredibly specific about the vital difference between two specific Thai documents.
And confusing them is bad news.
It's a fatal error. What you're talking about is the house registration, legally known as the Toror.14.
The famous blue book, like every single house in Thailand has one.
Yes, the blue book. But the Toror.14 merely shows who lives in a specific unit. It is strictly a residency document.
So it doesn't prove ownership.
Not at all. Think of it like a hotel guest manifest or a driver's license that shows your current mailing address.
Okay, I see.
The person listed in that blue book could be a renter, it could be a relative staying for the year, or, it could be a university student living in a condo their parents bought.
Right, they just sleep there.
Exactly. They might have absolutely zero financial or ownership rights over the property itself. So if a building manager relies on the house registration to call a meeting of owners, they are essentially inviting the tenants to run the building.
So the Toror.14 is practically useless for corporate governance.
Pretty much.
It just tells you who is physically sleeping in the bed, not who holds the legal power.
Exactly. It's totally irrelevant to the ownership structure. The true Holy Grail document, as the sources emphasize, is the co-owner registry.
And in this legal context, that's known as the Orcor.2.
Yes, the Orcor.2.
Let's anchor that to a concept people might be more familiar with. The Orcor.2 is basically the official corporate shareholder ledger.
That's the perfect equivalent. This registry is the ultimate ledger of power. It is backed by the actual title deed, the Orcor.1, and the official immutable records at the land office.
So this is the big one.
Oh, yeah. The Orcor.2 is the sole document that dictates how many voting ratios a unit has, who has the legal right to attend the meeting, and fundamentally, who the verified owner is.
But it gets even more granular than simply identifying the owner, doesn't it?
It does.
Because knowing who the owner is from the Orcor.2 is only half the battle. Where you mail that owner's invitation is an entirely separate trap.
A huge trap.
Let's say I own the condo, I'm on the Orcor.2, but I actually live overseas. Or maybe I want all my legal documents sent to my corporate lawyer's office across town.
This raises an incredibly important question about the mechanism of legal notification. And it's where a lot of management companies fail.
Because they just mail to the condo.
Right. But the correct mailing address isn't necessarily the condo unit itself. The law strictly prioritizes the specific address that the owner formally notified the juristic person to use.
And we have to ask why the law is so strict about this. I mean, it's not just to be annoying. It's to prevent intentional disenfranchisement, right?
Exactly. Historically, absentee owners, like foreign investors or people who own multiple properties, they were highly vulnerable.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Worse than that. Imagine a corrupt building manager who wants to pass a shady renovation contract. If they know an owner lives in London, they might intentionally mail the meeting invitation to the empty condo unit in Bangkok.
Oh, wow. So they basically hide the invitation in plain sight.
Yes. They can claim, well, I mailed it to the property, while knowing full well the owner will never see it, effectively locking them out of the vote.
That's incredibly sneaky.
It is. And that is why the law says if an owner formally requests documents be sent to their office in London, sending the invitation to the physical condo unit is a complete failure to notify them legally.
It's wild when you think about it.
Yeah.
You could slip the official invitation under the literal front door of the property in question, and legally, you haven't invited the owner at all.
Because legally, you ignored their registered point of contact. You broke the chain of custody.
Okay, so knowing that this co-owner registry, the Orcor.2, is the Holy Grail, and knowing that we have to track these specific notified addresses, how does a building manager actually protect this data?
It's intense.
Because reading the source material's breakdown of the process, this sounds less like property management and more like being a forensic data detective. You can't just keep a casual spreadsheet.
No, absolutely not. You have to follow a strict, unyielding chronological blueprint.
Right.
The guidebook provides a very clear 8-step blueprint, and the word chronological is the absolute key here.
Because order matters.
Exactly. It's not simply about making sure a database is generally up to date before the meeting happens. You must maintain a meticulous audit trail.
An audit trail, meaning every single time that data is touched, it leaves a fingerprint.
Yes. If the Orcor.2 database is updated, the person managing it must be able to answer a very specific set of forensic questions for a judge. Like who changed this data, when exactly was it changed, down to the day, what specific legal document, like an inheritance paper, a marriage certificate, or a transfer deed, prompted the change.
And someone has to sign off on it, right?
Exactly. The final question is, who authorized the update?
So you really can't just log into an Excel file, delete a former owner's name, type in the new buyer's name, and hit save.
If you do that, and you overwrite the previous data without leaving a logged history of that keystroke, your upcoming meeting is already in jeopardy.
Wow.
Yeah, the timeline must be a perfectly linear progression of evidence.
I want to talk about that timeline because the sources lay it out, and the friction between this ideal legal timeline and real-world human behavior is where everything falls apart.
Oh, human nature ruins everything.
Right. Theoretically, it flows logically. Step 1, you verify ownership with land office data.
Correct.
Then you update the or.cor.2 registry. Then you update the specific mailing addresses. Then you log all of that into the audit trail.
Yep, you're tracking with it perfectly.
And only then do you generate the final list of eligible voters.
And notice, at that point, you haven't even decided to have a meeting yet.
You're just setting the table.
You are just locking in the foundation. It's only after that voter list is sealed that the board actually resolves to call a meeting and sets the agenda.
Okay, so the data is logged before the meeting is even a reality.
Exactly. Then you do a final pre-mailing check, and finally, you send the physical invitations, keeping every single receipt, and return to sender notice as proof.
It's like building an administrative fortress around the meeting before you even book the conference room.
It really is.
You are bulletproofing the underlying data. But of course, property managers are human beings.
Very stressed human beings, usually.
Right. And where there are human beings juggling 50 different tasks, there is impatience. People get rushed. The board says, we need to have a meeting next month, get the invitations out today.
They just want it done.
They just want to get the mail out the door so they can tick it off their to-do list.
And that human impatience is exactly what the legal framework is designed to catch.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting.
The guidebook actually highlights something it calls a legal disaster scenario.
Yes. Let's walk through this scenario from the text because it sounds so innocent on the surface.
It really does.
Picture this. You are the stressed-out property manager. You know a major meeting is coming up. On day 1 of the month, you print out all the meeting invitations and you drop them in the mail. Job done.
Right, you're feeling good.
But then on day 3, you realize, oh, wait, a couple units sold last week? I need to update the co-owner registry, the orcord.2.
Uh-oh.
So you update the ledger. Then on day 5, you check your emails and see a few owners change their mailing addresses, so you log those new addresses into the system. What is the actual status of that upcoming meeting?
As the source material bluntly puts it, the status of that meeting is a legal disaster.
A literal disaster.
Yes. By sending the physical invitations on day 1, you have legally utilized outdated, unverified data. Period.
Okay, but let me push back here, again channeling that stressed-out property manager.
Go for it.
If I mail the invitations on day 1, but the actual meeting isn't scheduled for another 30 days, and I fix the database on day 3,
It doesn't matter.
doesn't that retroactively make my day 1 mailing okay? I mean, I caught the mistake. Nobody even voted yet. Can't I just go to court and claim retroactive intent?
Like what?
Like, Your Honor, I intended for the database to be accurate, and I did update it just 48 hours later.
It's a very logical defense in everyday life. If you send an email with the wrong attachment, you just send a follow-up email.
Right. Simple fix.
But in the realm of corporate governance and property law, claiming retroactive intent is a fatal flaw. You cannot fix the foundation after the house is built.
Wow.
The legal violation was completed the very second those envelopes dropped into the mailbox on day 1.
The bullet has already left the chamber.
Precisely. By relying on the unupdated registry on day 1, you essentially mailed official, legally binding documents to the wrong people or to the wrong addresses.
And day 3 doesn't change that.
No. Updating an internal spreadsheet on day 3 doesn't magically reach into the postal system and reroute the physical envelope you mailed on day 1.
That makes total sense when you put it like that.
The structural integrity of your forensic chain of custody is permanently compromised.
Which turns this seemingly minor, innocent administrative slip into a massive lethal weapon in a courtroom.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that day 1 error can't be washed away. It just sits there in the audit trail waiting for someone to find it.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this out-of-order sequence doesn't just mean your paperwork is messy. It triggers a cascade of severe legal violations.
What kind of violations are we talking about?
Well, according to the breakdown of the law in our sources, This day 1, day 3, day 5 scenario violates several foundational statutes. For example, it violates Section 36.
And what does Section 36 say?
It dictates the absolute duty of the juristic person to maintain current, accurate registries.
So you failed your basic duty of record keeping.
Yes. And more importantly, it violates Section 423. This is the strict requirement to send invitations to the actual verified owner no less than 7 days prior to the meeting.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Because you used bad data on day 1, the actual new owner who bought the unit or the owner who updated their address never legally received their 7-day notice.
You have legally disenfranchised them.
Exactly.
You've deprived them of their right to participate in a multi-million-dollar decision affecting their own property.
Exactly. And the Thai legal system does not take disenfranchisement lightly. The sources explicitly note that under established Supreme Court rulings, specifically referencing rulings 1385 from the year 2568 and 5510 from the year 2540.
Getting specific with the precedents.
Always. This specific failure has a devastating consequence. It doesn't just mean the management gets a fine. It makes the entire meeting resolution completely, 100% void.
Void.
The specific legal term used in the text is MOCA.
MOCA. Void. Meaning it isn't just subject to review or temporarily suspended pending an investigation.
Nope.
It is legally treated as if the meeting never took place at all.
As if the people never even gathered in the room. And for added academic weight, the sources tie this consequence to Sections 43 and 48 of the Condominium Act.
They really layer the legal backing here.
They do. They even reference a specific land office ruling on a highly contentious case known as River Heaven.
River Heaven. It sounds like a peaceful place, but clearly it was a legal battlefield.
It really was. This isn't just theoretical. This is established, formidable legal precedent being used in active property disputes.
And when you think about it, this is where the real strategy of property law comes into play.
Oh, completely.
If I am an owner in that building and I desperately oppose that multi-million-dollar renovation project, I don't need to stand up in the meeting and argue about the cost of the concrete.
Waste of breath.
Right. I don't need to spend weeks trying to convince my neighbors to vote no and build a coalition. I just need to hire a lawyer to look at the manager's administrative timeline.
And that is the ultimate actionable consequence here. Opposing co-owners can use this simple day 1 mailing error as their primary weapon in administrative court.
It's brilliant in a terrifying way.
They don't even have to argue the merits of the renovation project itself. They simply present the audit trail to the judge and argue that the management effectively set up the mailing process to intentionally exclude certain people by using outdated data.
Wow. So they can frame basic administrative incompetence as a malicious, calculated conspiracy to suppress votes.
And the beauty of it, well, from a legal strategy standpoint, is that it works.
It works.
Armed with that broken timeline, a dissenting owner can easily secure a temporary injunction to stop the meeting from happening entirely.
Just shut it down before it starts.
Or if the meeting already happened and the vote was unanimous, they can have the judge void the results after the fact.
Because the foundation was rotten.
Exactly. The judge looks at the forensic data, sees the dates are out of order, sees that the chain of custody was broken, and shuts the entire multi-million-dollar project down.
It is the ultimate Achilles heel. You could have a room of 500 people cheering in completely unanimous agreement, handshakes all around.
Doesn't matter.
But one single person with a lawyer who noticed a timestamp error on an address update can bring the whole building to its knees.
It proves that transparency and good governance aren't just abstract, feel-good concepts.
No, they're highly technical.
Right. They are deeply mechanically embedded in how data is handled on a Tuesday afternoon by a property manager sitting at a computer.
So what does this all mean for you?
That's the big question.
Even if you are not a property manager, and even if you don't own a condo, this deep dive serves as a fascinating reminder of how our legal rights, our voice, and our property are entirely bound to bureaucratic hygiene.
Bureaucratic hygiene, I love that term.
It's so true, though. We love to think of democracy and governance as these grand philosophical concepts played out in dramatic boardrooms and voting booths.
The fun stuff.
Exactly. We focus on the speeches and the show of hands. But true transparency, true good governance, doesn't start in the room.
No, it doesn't.
It starts months earlier, with the invisible forensic accuracy of the database used to invite you to that room in the first place.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's a very humbling thought.
Extremely.
The strength of any collective democratic decision is really only ever as robust as the administrative diligence that preceded it.
It really is. Which leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over. We've seen how a simple, out-of-order mailing address update can entirely invalidate a massive unanimous decision by hundreds of property owners.
Just one little timestamp.
It makes you wonder how many other democratic, corporate, or local government processes in our daily lives.
Oh.
Decisions that impact our taxes, our communities, our jobs, our schools. How many might be unknowingly built on voided foundations?
That is a scary thought.
Just waiting for someone to pull back the curtain and check the timestamp on a database update. So the next time you see a perfect unanimous decision, just remember, you might want to check the forensic data first.